Welcome to another Todd's
2-Minute Tech Tip Tuesday.
brought to you by the National RV Training Academy, the largest hands-on RV training academy in America.
Hey, you just got finished watching RV Unplugged Season 1, Episode 1, and if you haven't... All right, so what we want to do is take this time here to go over some of the stuff that we learned should you go off-grid or unplugged.
So if you happen to end up on Season 2 of RV Unplugged, here are some of the things that we learned from the contestants on how to conserve your resources.
So let's just talk about the first one. So Ryan showing up in the show, never been unplugged before, shows up, no generator, no inverter, everything else. Lead-acid battery,
Yep.
battery, right? And a big 40-foot fifth wheel, right? Now, it's kind of funny because we do have a lot of people do that. They get in the RV, they understand certain portions of it, that you have a lot of stuff. You can take your water, right? You do have battery power. And he was thinking, well, maybe I don't need the 120 volts. But this is what we learned. Even with just one battery, right, you can run your lights, but you need to understand that those lights draw from the battery. If you turn on your fans, those draw from the battery. How do you know how long you can run those things with your battery? Typically, when we get it from the manufacturer who purchased that, they give us a 100 amp hour battery at 12 volts. So in our 12 volt systems, we need to look at the amp draw that we have when we turn on certain things, our lights and our fan. Let's just look at those two things, as we're getting into the summer. Those are typically what you're going to turn on. Your lights collectively, if you turn on all your LED lights, they run on 12 volts. You're going to draw about 2 or 3 amps. So if you have a 100 amp hour battery, you take your 2 or 3 amp draw and divide it into that 100, and that would tell you that you got so many hours. But what we got to remember...
But Todd, what if I only have
more.
lead acid?
Right, and that's what I'm saying, lead acid. Here's the thing, and I think we all know this. You're not supposed to drain that lead acid battery down below 50%. Right? You're really getting in a danger zone. Here's where the danger zone is. When we get below 50% discharge on that lead acid battery, the voltage drops below 12. Now our motors have to work harder, drawing from the amps, and that's where we have problems. So you really, even though you have a 100 amp hour battery, you only get really 50 hours out of it. 50 amp hours. So whatever your draw is, if you're drawing 2 amps per hour out of 50 amp hours, you're only going to make it 25 hours. Right? Typically, a single battery with your lights and with your fan, you got 1 day. Whenever you show up that day, by the morning, dead.
Yep. Well, what I learned from Ryan was 2 kind of neat things. One was born out of necessity because he had no way to run his air conditioner. So he basically opened up his windows, dropped his shades, and then would follow the sun around the RV as the shade would go around.
Oh,
that was the
sat on
only
the
way to keep
outside.
himself cool.
Yeah,
But
the awnings is what
the
you're
awnings,
talking about. Yeah, the awnings.
But the really cool thing was the way he was conserving his water. So he would wash his dishes in a bucket, right? So dishes, now that's undrinkable water. And then that bucket would wind up in the bathroom. And so instead of using, water from his fresh tank to flush the toilets, he used the dishwasher.
Oh, I thought you'd say
Dish
shower. Who's going to
He did, yeah.
get a sponge?
Well, sometimes he smelled like he was washing
you
in
smell like
dishwater,
barbecue.
right? Well, he always did smell like barbecue,
That's
didn't
true.
he? But that was one way to conserve water, which
Yeah.
was really neat.
Right. And, with that, I mean, if you're used to actually taking showers every single day, you may have to go a little bit longer.
That's weird.
I know.
Why
Who
would you
does
do
that?
that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at someone else. We had a couple others. We had some Class A's, and they had their generator. So, at night, when what we did was made them, follow kind of the standard rules, quiet hours at night. You can run them in the morning.
Well, of course, we had Caitlin and Howard, which had a solar.
They had a full system, yeah.
They had a full system.
Yeah, they
so
were
I
so
think,
good with it.
I think the moral of that story is if you're interested in that kind of lifestyle to where you're not going from RV park to RV park to RV park, which is, that works for you. Look at Grateful Glamper. They enjoy going from RV park to RV park, air conditioning it up and taking showers every day. But if you want to do something like go out to BLM land and park in front of the arches for 14 days.
Or conserve your fuel, because they all had, everyone that you're talking about, and and even Mike, they all had, Class A's, or they had motor coaches, and when they run the generator, you're running the fuel out of your tank. If you have a solar system, you limit how long you run that generator.
Right. And I think another thing that you could pull from them is you don't need a massive rig or a massive roof. They were in a Class B, and they were pulling enough sun, and they had enough capacity to keep their air running, and that's pretty neat. So
Yeah.
that'd be something I'd recommend.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to have the super system like I do. Well, it's because.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and that's where you kind of look. You got to find out what you're comfortable with, depending on temperature, right? Certain things you just don't do. Like if you have the lights on during the day, maybe turn the lights off.
Mm-hmm.
Use the windows. So that all of that helps out. You wouldn't think it helps out. You give that hour after hour after hour, you'd be surprised at how much you're building up.
Hey, another thing that is really important that certain contestants had to deal with, but certain contestants didn't, was the direction they were parked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, if you park east and west, then you know that your windows, which are north and south, really don't get direct sunlight. So, if you're parked east and west.
East and west.
There you
Sun's doing
go.
this.
Sun's doing this. Your windows on RV really don't get direct sunlight. So,
Right.
that really helps out.
And it's not baking the side of your rig.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you park north and south, right, yeah, you're now relegated to the sun,
Yeah, that's just frying you. So,
that direction. All right, so how do we conserve food? And how do we take care of that when we have limited power? I got some ideas.
I have no idea.
Well, so certain things that we typically put in the fridge, maybe we don't put in there, like your vegetables and whatnot. So you try and keep, don't ever stick warm food in your refrigerator. It's going to cycle more often because it has to cool that down.
Oh, like leftovers?
Either leftovers or let's say vegetables and fruits. I know we like them to be cold, but do they have to be cold? So anyway, there's always a give and take, right? And so this information, what we're providing to you, you're limiting the power in order to gain wherever you're at. You're limiting the water to be able to gain the views and maybe not paying for the site and everything else. There is a give and take. And even if we try and fix other things, right? Putting a full solar system, well, great that you have that, but now you sacrifice your storage space for it, right? So always a give and take. There's more than one way to look at this. I think the whole tech tip is to, think creatively. If the goal is to get out there and find so many other places to go, all right, what are you willing to give up just a little bit in order to gain that experience?
And if you are an avid boondocker, please leave in the comments below. Tell us your best tech tip. We may not know, everything
Do you
about boondocking. So let's see who has the best tip for boondocking. And if you haven't seen RV Unplugged yet, check the link in the description. You're going to love this show.
Yeah. There's your
their
tech
tech
tip.
tip.
All right, before you get to the bloopers, which is why you're here in the first place, the RV industry needs thousands of RV technicians and inspectors, and now is the perfect time to do that. If you want to make more money or have more control over your time, go ahead and click the link below. Or if you just want to learn how to fix your own RV, got something for you there. Head over to rvtechcourse.com and get started today.
Now for the reason that you're at the end of the video, roll the bloopers.
Oh, are we going? Yeah. Is that what this meant? I just thought you thought it was a good idea.
Here's the thing.
We're finally going to have bloopers, though.
Yeah.
Hey, can you all agree the blooper reel has been a little dry lately? It's because Todd's been a little too proficient in his tech tips.
Yeah, they catch me midday and I'm like perfect. They call me One Take Todd.
Yep. Hey, if you wind up on Unplugged, you will not. So, if you happen to go, gosh, this sounds like a goat. All right, what did we learn?
I don't know. Is there like a B-roll here, or are we actually going to talk? Can I say that?
I don't know.
Well, we just did.
I'm going to help you 0 on this one.
But if you park north and south, at least your windows are now, pointed north and south. Sorry.
I have no idea where you're at right now.
If you park east and west,
Okay.
now your windows are north and south.
Because the sun
yeah.
is doing that.
Yes. No.
Yeah. No.